My name is Jackline Watahi, turning 30 this year. Mom of two, born and raised in Murang'a. Most people know me by the name Chapati Mistress because that's what I do. I make chapatis and sell them online. So aka Chapati Mistress. I lost my mom at the age of 17. So I didn't have, I would say I didn't have much guidance in as far as I didn't even have anyone to support me or take me through college. So I went to stay with my cousin, who was at that time staying at Umoja. Obviously, after high school, you try to look for jobs. For some reason, I wasn't just lucky. I gave up on searching for jobs. I just stayed and chose to get married. So I got married really young. I was, I think, that time 21. Got pregnant almost immediately, but lost my firstborn a few days after delivery. Didn't work out. I was a full-time mom and wife, so I wasn't ever working. The fear I had was, where would I start if I left? So I kind of stayed there, the way people tell you, vumilia, kaa ule watoto kwa nini, so I was stuck in a place where I felt like I wasn't good mentally, but I was doing it for the sake of kids. But eventually, I think it got to a point where I had to choose my sanity of whatever was happening, and I chose to take that step. It wasn't an easy one, and around the time I moved out, or we decided, what, it's over. On a Saturday, it was 29th, I think, of September 2019. It's when I decided, initially I wanted to be making chapos right outside there, hiyo plot nilikuwa nakaa. But then I decided, since I didn't even have anything, I don't have an umbrella, I didn't have a stand, I decided, let me go, ninunue unga, I make chapatis and hawk kwa soko, because nilimove near Kona. Kama you've been to Kayole, Kona market. So I made chapos, it was around noon. I made chapos, so by the time I'm finishing, it was 2. Watu washakula lunch, but I put them in a dish and walked out and went out kwa soko. And I remember now starting, I am very confident. Najiamini tu. Kiplani najiamini. So I remember just introducing myself, because these people have never seen you before. But here I am telling them, you know what, I make chapos. This is what I was telling them. I make them, but today I didn't have a sikuwa naenda pahali job. And since I just moved here, I decided niwauzie. And miraculously, they decided to give them a try. So the first few people who bought walibai kama 2-3, and I had made 34 chapos. So as I walked, I remember I entered a boutique and I found this gentleman, and he said, uko na ya kuonja? Thinking of the chapos I had made, ningekata. But this guy, for some reason, I just said, they were with a friend. Nikawakatia chapo nusu. And I remember when they had the chapos, he just called home and said, he asked, ningapi zimebaki? And I had like 15. So he called home and told I think, watu wenye walikuwa home, you people don't, msipike supper, just make stew. I'll come with something to eat with. And that is how I started making chapatis. I'm giving you that story because that's where chapatis, like my journey with chapatis began. For some reason, I wasn't so active on Twitter, but this day I decided to post them on Twitter. If anything, on any other regular day, I would post them on Let's Cook Kenyan Meals. But I left that post on Twitter. And I remember the caption was, they're as good as my mood. I can't keep my customers waiting. And there was no price tag. I just left. So when I was coming back, already kuna watu walikuwa wamesema, chapo zako ni mzuri, rafiki yangu anataka. So they had paid, now prepaid. I was coming to make them and deliver baadaye for dinner. So it was when I got home, I decided to check on my, you just turn on your data. And I was moved because the kind of notifications I was getting from Twitter were unbelievable. So this guy, I didn't know he wasn't here. He placed an order for Christmas, and I think sometime near January 2020. Was it 2020? Because it was beginning of last year. And then he decided, that I would discover he wasn't here. And he now started saying he wasn't really going to place an order. He wanted to invest because he's seen how good I am online. That time he thought I was big. I think now I'm doing better than I was back then. So he said he wanted to be a silent investor in my business. But according to how he was interacting with me, I kind of, picked a few things, and I thought this is not a person you can work with. So I woke up one day, because he was really saying I want to invest. He had sent money. My number is public. And I remember not using that money. He had sent like 32,000 in my phone. And I never reached out immediately because I was busy cooking. But he would reach out later and ask, did you find the money I sent you? I said yes. And he said it was to get a place, like a shop. But since I hadn't now gotten a shop, he got really infuriated. And that is when he now decided to open up and say, hata sikuwa nataka kukusaidia, nilikuwa nataka tu nyinyi wanawake wenye mko na watoto nyinyi mnakuanga malaya, you should just settle for people using, you know. That was the biggest challenge. I shouldn't have left it out. And I remember just refunding the full amount. And he threatened me and he said, you know, unajiona kwa sababu uko na followers kwa Twitter. Around that time, I think I had 13,000 or 14. And he said, I will make sure I frustrate you. You won't amount to anything. I thought they were just empty threats. Within a week, my account was suspended. And it went. And I hadn't known if not for people reaching out nikiwa deliveries. And they were like, why can't we find you on Twitter? You know, you're not there. And I remember just going back home and checking, and honestly, my account was suspended. So imagine you rely on people placing orders online, and now your account is gone. And that 1 week, I had to go for kazi kwa mjengo because I had no other thing. I couldn't even, I had even gotten so demotivated because I was wondering, mbona mtu anaweza kuwa hivyo? I didn't take his money, I refunded it. And people kept asking me, ni nini imefanya account yako ikasuspendiwa? Because I don't usually post anything that would really violate Twitter rules. Maybe probably someone just, you know, reporting your account. And you know it's automatic, so they will look into your case once you appeal. But before I could appeal, people told me, you know, create another account, we will follow. So I had to create a backup account. But I also learned a lesson from it because I was like 100% relying on online. So I had to look for other ways of maybe marketing. So that was the major challenge.